My name is Sander, and I've been working and living in Mexico now for 10 years. I studied IBL I started my studies at the HES Amsterdam in 2001, 2001, and I graduated in 2004. I chose IBL because I wanted to do something international and I wanted to leave the country. That was my whole purpose, really. And before IBL, I chose another studies at another university, but that wasn't really my cup of tea. So I decided, I wanted to do something more practical, and I wanted, to do an exchange. I wanted to go abroad. I wasn't sure where yet. I didn't have an ID, but the fact that in the IBL you learn a lot about communication and languages, that was the thing that mainly attracted me to the program. Mm. And the first years, just in Amsterdam, taking classes and everything, it was okay. I mean, it's the same as everywhere. It's just taking classes, and I like the projects and all these kind of things. But the cool stuff started when I had to do my exchange, because I was like, okay, I want to learn more Spanish. Let's go to Latin America. So I just had the map of Latin America and really like blindfolded. Okay, let's go to Ecuador. So fortunately, the HES Amsterdam had an agreement with a university in Quito in Ecuador, and together with two colleagues, two other students, we went to Ecuador for 6-7 months, and it was an experience that really changed my life, really, because there I fell in love with Latin America, with Latin American culture. It's because you have to use Spanish. These people didn't speak a lot of English, so I had to use Spanish all the time. So in quite a short time, my Spanish improved quite quickly. Then at the university, of course, you're taking classes, and I must say that during exchange, I think the academic part is the least important. It's more about the experiences of living abroad, meeting new people, traveling, getting to know new cultures. But to be with French people, German people, with a Japanese girl in Ecuador, and traveling around, getting to know the country, of course. Visiting the Galapagos Islands is once in a lifetime experience. It's amazing. Getting to know the Andes Mountains, the jungle of the Amazon. And then I headed back to the Netherlands. And actually, when I was in the Netherlands, I was really looking forward to doing my internship, because I was like, okay, I'm not going to stay in the Netherlands. Not at all. I have to get back to Latin America, any country again. So through the university, I found an internship here in Mexico, which was a really small company. Was just the director, his wife, and an assistant. And they represented some trade organizations from the United States. So, the first weeks of my internship was like hell. First of all, I had to, of course, I knew Spanish from Ecuador. But throughout the few months I was in the Netherlands, I didn't use it that often. So it's kind of, lowered a bit my level again. So back in Mexico, I had to get it up to par again. And the director of the company decided that it was a good thing for me to check a database of about 1,000 contacts, call every one of them, and ask if their details were still correct. That was really the intern kind of job. It's like, no. But anyway, it really helped improving my Spanish and improving my confidence in calling people in Spanish in Mexico, in Central America, and Latin America. So in the end, it did really help me, this experience, but it wasn't the funny thing. The good thing is that was the bad part of the internship, because afterwards it only got better. I had to attend a lot of trade fairs representing these products. I had to organize commercial missions of companies visiting Mexico to sell their products to the retailers, to the big supermarket chains like Walmart over here, for example. So those were very, very nice experiences, and that's why I decided, okay, after my internship, I was able to do my graduation thesis as well over there. I wrote a report on the Mexican market for sunflower seeds. Again, it's not the most interesting topic maybe, but still it was quite interesting to do some market research and think of a strategy how to sell sunflower seeds as a snack. Well, that was the end of my studies because I saved everything for my internship and my thesis for the last. I already completed all subjects in Amsterdam, so I just headed back to Amsterdam, handed in my reports, did my presentation, and headed back to Mexico because I could work there for a few months more. Well, I worked for that company for about 1.5 years, and then through contacts, through many people, I heard that Nuffic, which is the Dutch Organization for Internationalization in Higher Education, was about to set up a new office here in Mexico City. And this office would be dedicated to promoting studying in Holland and helping Mexican students with opportunities to study their bachelor, master's degree, or an exchange in Holland. I was very much interested in this job, of course, because I was like, I have the experience of doing an exchange, of living abroad. I know Holland. I speak Spanish. I've been living here in Mexico. It was in 2004, and since then I've been working 2006, and since then I've been working for this company. So what we do is we are the Dutch Representative Office of Higher Education. So we represent all Dutch universities and hogescholen here in Mexico, with the goal to have more Mexicans studying a program taught in English in the Netherlands. And it's really a versatile job because right now I am, since June this year, I am the responsible person for the office. I'm the Chief Representative Officer. And that means that sometimes I'm talking to the Mexican Secretary of Education, then I'm talking to rectors of university, then the other day I'm packing boxes of brochures to send to different universities. It's really versatile, and I think that's one of the things that I like most about my job. Is really, it's not only being at a desk, being at a computer now. It's also going to fairs and talking to students, explaining they should study in the Netherlands and how to do these things. So that's really one of the things that's it's really versatile. Well, I've been doing this for 8 years and I'm still loving it, so that's one of the good things. Every morning I get on my bike here in Mexico City, and I must tell you that's not a little thing, because in Mexico City they're not so used to bikes as in the Netherlands. But still, it's funny to go past all the traffic, all the cars, my bike, and still. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what this day brings and how to help more students.
And
of course, there are many differences between Mexico and the Netherlands. It sometimes is actually the opposite, because I think it's really restructured. The agenda is like the Bible for a Dutch person, and everything has to go by appointments. In one way, that's very nice, because Dutch people can plan everything ahead and they can organize everything perfectly. However, when something does not turn out the way they planned it, sometimes Dutch people don't know what to do. Here in Mexico, it's the opposite. Mexicans, they can save everything to the last moment, and at the end, if you are organizing, for example, and you ask a company for 100 white chairs because it would look nice in the room. In the Netherlands, if a company has only 90 white chairs, they will say, sorry, we cannot do this because we only have 90 chairs. You have to look for another provider. Here in Mexico, they will turn up with 90 white chairs and 10 black chairs. And you're going to be asking, okay, but I asked for 100. Yeah, sorry, we didn't have 100 white chairs, but we have 90 and the other ones are black, so we put them here at the back so you won't notice so much. That kind of improvisation at the end of the day, every event, maybe it's not 100% as you planned it, but still can go ahead and you can finish what you were about to do, because in the end, does it matter if it's chair? No, it doesn't matter. It matters that you can sit on it. And that's one of the things that I really love about Mexico, the way people can improvise. Sometimes you get mad about it, because it's like, okay, again, why can't you do the things the way we agreed upon? But still, you have to adjust yourself to that.
Yeah.
I think that in the time that I've been living here, like, I have one foot in Dutch culture, one foot in Mexican culture. So I try to get the most of both worlds. Fortunately, my office is Dutch, so we really do the things in a Dutch way. For example, our working hours, we're not really that Dutch at 5 o'clock we leave the office, but still, it's, I usually work until 5:40, more or less, from 8 to 5:40. So that's quite reasonable hours. If you work in a Mexican commercial company, it's not strange at all that you leave the office until 9, 10 o'clock in the night. And there's also this culture that you cannot leave until your boss leaves, because over here the hierarchy of people is really, the society is really based upon different social classes and different levels of people. Well, Mexicans are really open-minded people in the sense that they are really interested in meeting people from other countries. It has happened to me that in the streets people are just approaching me and talking to me in English because they want to practice their English, for example, and they're very curious about where I'm from, and they think I'm from Russia or I don't know which other country. And especially if you speak the language, it's quite easy to meet people. If you don't speak Spanish, it's quite difficult, but at least if you have some basic knowledge of the language and you show interest in the culture and the people, then it's quite easy to meet new people. Mexican sense of friendship is a bit different maybe than the Dutch people, because in what I've seen is that a Mexican can have many friends. For example, you go to a party and they introduce you to everyone, and you're all friends, and it may be that 2 days later you meet the same people in the streets and they don't even recognize you anymore. So the Mexican sense of friendship is really a bit, in that sense, a bit more superficial than the Dutch one, because in my opinion, a Dutch person has maybe 5 friends who are really friends for life. But the circle of friends of a Dutch person is quite small and difficult to enter into one of these circles. Here in Mexico, it's very easy to enter into a circle of friends, but it's not necessarily a friendship for life. So I think that's a bit different over here. The subjects I chose more subjects like intercultural communication and these kind of things. Well, I'm a Dutch guy living in Mexico representing Dutch University, so I think the intercultural communication, that's very important for me. In my daily job, I use 3 languages all the time. Spanish, in the office I speak Spanish with my colleagues. English, because many people working at Dutch universities are foreigners as well, so I communicate in English with them. And Dutch, of course, with Dutch colleagues in the Netherlands. So that's one of the things. Maybe the business side is not my strength. My strength is the communication and the languages side. And I really, I love the fact that I switch languages in one day from one moment to the other. I think that's one of the most important things from the subjects, from the HES, the languages, and the intercultural communication, and understanding the way people communicate in other countries. And furthermore, my job is a lot of marketing as well, of course, because I have to explain to people all the time where the Netherlands is, because people don't know the country actually. Why should they study there? That their programs are taught in English. So it's a lot of marketing, and actually most of our marketing is online marketing, which at the time I was at the HES wasn't really that much of an issue yet, because Facebook was just beginning actually. It was still the time of MSN Messenger and these kind of things, and that was the whole thing. Right now it's a whole different, and I love it. I'm using Facebook, Twitter, YouTube for promoting studying in Holland to Mexican students.
So how do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you think you still be living in Mexico, and do you have further aspirations for your professional career?
I don't see myself returning to the Netherlands anytime soon. So yeah, the most probably I will still be here in Mexico because I just love this country. My wife is Mexican actually, so that's not a good reason to stay here. And professionally, well, I'll see. I mean, right now, since June, I've been in charge of this office, so at least I want to have 1 year of experience of being the director manager of an office, because I think that's really important for my CV as well. And after that year, well, we'll see if I start my own business maybe, or maybe look for a job in a university, because many Mexican universities are still at a different level of internationalization. So I think with my experience, it would be interesting to share that in a working from a Mexican university to help them, yeah, set up agreements, exchange agreements, joint research, these things. That would be interesting as well. But who knows? One of the things I'm pretty sure about is that I won't be working for a commercial company. My future will be in NGOs. I'm pretty sure about that, because I don't find a lot of satisfaction of working for a boss who will make more millions every year because of my work. No. I like to change people's lives, and maybe I'm not changing a country or something, but I know that every student that goes to the Netherlands that passes through us, I have made a change in his or her life, for the better or for the worse. I don't know. Every experience, it helps develop a person. So that's what I really love about my job, and I want to continue in that sense with NGOs. Really.
Do you have any advice for students of IBL?
Well, at least if you're international business, also be international. That means look for an internship, look for an exchange, which is really in a country where you're interested in. I mean, I remember people doing an internship or doing their exchange in Antwerp, Belgium. Well, that means that you can still live in the Netherlands and go every morning almost to your job. I mean, it's not a really international experience. If you know that the HES Amsterdam, the Amsterdam University of Applied Sciences, they have a lot of agreements all throughout the whole world. So don't limit yourselves. If you have the opportunity to go to a different continent with a different culture, it's the best experience ever. Maybe if you go to China or Japan or something, it might be that it's not your cup of tea, that culture, but at least you learned from it. And that's one of the most important things I really, really did through my studies. And also connect with exchange students visiting the HES, because in your first 2 years you won't be leaving Amsterdam too much actually, but there are international students from different continents at the HES Amsterdam. So ask them, how is your country, how is your culture, what do you do in Christmas, at what time is your meal, your main meal every day, these kind of things, because you can learn a lot from these students. And that's something which I actually learned after my exchange, because beforehand I didn't speak too much to the international students. I spoke more to my Dutch classmates and everything. But it's really, really so much more interesting to talk and to work in groups with international students, even though sometimes it's difficult, but it doesn't matter. I think that's difficult, it helps you develop yourself.